People were flocking to the beaches way before this time, though, way before the bridge, and I'm about to show you how. There's a great documentary on this. I'll link in the description because I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look for it. Not much has changed. Still have big backups on the bridges. Just hope that there's not an accident when you're crossing, because that stinks. So here are ferries that would cross the bay, bringing people from Baltimore, Annapolis, Washington, and they would bring them here to Kent Point, Kent Island, also known as Kent Narrows. And from that point they would catch a train. More on the bridge. Can you imagine how grand a feat this was in the early 50s? A 4-mile span. Look at that. Isn't that great? Then came, I'm sorry, not then came, I'm getting this backwards. So again, before the Bay Bridge, it was ferries and then trains. That's how people got to the beach as early as the very early 20th century. This is just a collection of assorted ships. Pretty neat. Floats for traps. This is neat. They've got different sand from all the beaches around the Chesapeake, pretty much. Rock Hall, Sassafras River. Chester River, which is right here. Terrapin Nature Park, just over the other side of the island. Stevensville, the Nanticoke, the Chop Tank. So there's a lot in this small museum on agriculture and aquaculture. And this is explaining how in the 1930s farm machinery was mechanized, something I've addressed when talking about the Civil War. It used to take a farmer 2 to 3 weeks to harvest the same area that he could then, with the new mechanized equipment, do in 2 days. So, like I've said, slavery was on its way out. It was becoming obsolete by the time of the Civil War. Then in come politics and money and power, and you get a big nasty civil war like what we got. It was about an old dying way and method, and a bold new era. So this section here is talking about basically pollution and the population boom reducing soil quality and water quality. White Island is just across Kent Narrows. Basically one of the first areas that you get to once you cross the Narrows. Pretty cool. Here we got some crab pots. Most people, they would look like cages, and they are, but we call them pots. Had a lot of fun the last couple years watching guys do this, hanging out at the docks. As I've mentioned a couple times, we were right behind Virginia. Tobacco was very big in Maryland, but pretty much predominantly around the Chesapeake. It's funny, all these are fake, except the oyster shells. Well, I don't know about these ducks. They look like they could be stuffed. Different wildlife in the region. I love this. We still have tons of these of different sizes. Usually not off the back of a truck anymore, but sometimes. But lots of farms and produce stands. The Eastern Shore, as anybody knows who's been to Ocean City, they're all up and down Route 50 pretty much. Route 404 probably. And over here we've got some decoys from famous wood carvers in Maryland. So the Nashes were from Chester. There are a couple other really famous duck carvers that have two museums. One is in Cambridge and the other is in the north end of the bay at Havre de Grace. These are beautiful. So this was the hotel here in Kent Island where people would get off the ferry and then catch the train. This was again the very early 20th century, believe it or not. And then about another 20 years or so we got the car and things started to change quickly. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Last photo we were just looking at is beautiful. I've taken a few like it. It was almost certainly taken in Cambridge. Possibly at the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge. It is just beautiful country down there. Very, very marshy. Very buggy. But very beautiful. So guys, there's the Heritage Center, Chesapeake Heritage Center and Visitor Center in Queen Anne's County. See you later.